I don't know about you all, but I am super hard on my truck and I'm even harder on my bumpers. I am constantly hitting stuff, pushing stuff out of my way, moving logs, whatever it needs to do. My truck it's a utility. I use it, so it gets beat up. So my rear bumper is in desperate need of changing. I put a new move steel welded bumper on the front last year, and now it's time for the rear. So this is episode number 2 of What's in Your Toolbox, and it's all about the Move steel rear bumper. Here is my front bumper. I just did a rattle can paint job on it and it looks horrible. It started to pit. Here's some holes I drilled and tapped to make a kind of a rack system when I go to buy really long aluminum tubing and stuff like that. But this is the front move bumper. It went together pretty well. I'm gonna pull it off, have it sandblasted and powder coated. But my truck is an old beater. It's a 2008 Duramax, and I love it because I can beat it, because I don't really care. It's not perfect, but this is what I'm talking about. This bumper is, well, there you go. This bumper is trashed. It's all dented up. The tailgate doesn't close. It's all like, it's just beat. So I'm going to replace this with one of these Move. This just came in the box today from my UPS man, Eric. Just dropped it off about an hour ago. Move bumpers, and I'm going to replace that ugliness with a brand new powder coated rear bumper. So stay tuned for that. That's what this video is going to be all about. It's going to be a how-to, as well as I'll do my own review on how I thought that the kit went together and the whole process. But stay tuned for that. That's what this video is going to be about, the Move steel bumper kits. But the first thing we got to do is take off the existing bumper. And as you know, man, stuff gets rusty, gets dirty. That's my least favorite part of jobs like this. So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos to watch how I did it. One of them said you have to loosen up the bed bolts. And then I was like, I don't want to do that. Is there another way or whatever? So I watched some others and they didn't do that at all. But there are quite a few bolts that hold this bumper on. In fact, there's 4 on each side. So that's 8, and then 2 at the rear hitch. I'm going to spin the phone around and show you what I'm talking about. So in the hitch, so looking at the bumper, so you get some aspect, there's 2 bolts that go there that then tie into your hitch. So that's the rear 2. And then on each one of these brackets, see if I can show this right, there are 2 bolts that go through. Hang on, I wasn't ready. 2 bolts that go through with these little holders. Then there's a smaller bolt that comes in through here, and then there's another big bolt that comes up vertical. So 4 on each side of these brackets, and then 2 right through the middle of that goes into the hitch. Here are the 2 with the little funny bracket. There's the third one, and then the vertical one goes up through in here. So that's got the bumper off. Now to start building. Okay, I am making progress on this Move rear bumper for the 2008 Silverado, and one of the first things they do is you actually use your bench top to tack together the 3 main parts of the bumper, the center section and the 2 outside sections, and then you put the 2 brackets up on the bumper mounts, and then you tack that together. So that is where we are at right now. The bumper is tacked together. You use a straight edge along that upper edge on the bench top. Get those 3 pieces tacked together, and then you see if you can get this to work. Then you go in and tack it to the brackets that are inside there. One other thing that I'm working on my particular truck is funny story, got kind of sideswiped by a guy going down I-90 in the snow, and there's a bunch of Bondo that was in there, and it looked like it was very easy to pound out. So I just took my rubber mallet in there and popped it back out, ground out all the old Bondo. Now I'm just going to kind of resurface it. But this truck is a working truck. It's trash. Look at that. I think I'm going to replace the tailgate. It's gone. But I'm just going to focus on this Move bumper. So the next thing now is to start plugging in these little holes on the sides and then fill in these rear corners, and then you take the whole thing off and weld it out on the bench top. So making pretty good progress with the little Bondo excursion. Wrap up this video on the Move bumper. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it. There's honestly maybe just one thing that I'm not too crazy about, and that's the fact that there was 10 bolts holding the original bumper on, and this one there's 4. And the biggest, not that more bolts is better, but there is one spot that there's not any bolts, and that is right here in where it ties down into the hitch. There's only the 2 up there and 2 over there on the inside bracket. There's nothing tying it into the hitch, and I think that could be that could probably help overall, honestly probably help the hitch more than anything if it's tied into the bumper bracket and tied into the frame. But I don't know, I'm not an engineer, I just pretend like I'm one. But anyway, the overall, I didn't want to show how to build this thing because Move bumpers, the paper manual that they give you is garbage, to put it plain and simple. But they do have really good links, and they're a QR code to their videos that they put together. They put them together for the front bumpers, rear bumpers, their brush guards, all that kind of stuff. So you got to go find your bumper and the really easy to follow Move or directions on how to do that. So I didn't need to really redo that. I just kind of wanted to recap on it. Overall though, this rear bumper, probably because it was the second one I did from the first bumper. The first bumper was kind of like a Chinese puzzle, took a little figuring out what all the pieces were. This one was quite a bit easier, went together really quick. And so that's the build. If you can weld any kind of steel at all, it's a pretty easy build. But and I honestly kind of like the look of it. It's definitely going to be tough, much tougher than the plasticky kind of garbagey ones. Take a look at my welds. I'm not a professional welder. I'm an airline pilot, but these didn't turn out too bad. Overall, pretty happy with it. I am actually going to pull the bumper off and weld some of the inside stuff, but I'm kind of just letting it cool. I did as much weld as I could with it bolted up to the truck, and I think that was a pretty good way to do it. That way you're gonna not get as much movement out of it when you start putting that heat into it. So got it all welded up. I'll give this whole thing about a 8 out of a 10, just because of those bolts, and we'll just go with that. But overall, pretty happy with it. I am going to eventually have this and the front bumper sandblasted and powder coated. That should look much better than the current rusty jalopy look that I got going up there. Anyway, thanks for watching, and that will be episode number 2 of my What's in Your Toolbox. Thanks for watching.